So a little earlier this month, there was an update to the layoff situation with Microsoft, and they were going to be laying off a further 650 people from its gaming staff, 7 months after they cut about 1,900 jobs from their studios, ZeniMax, Xbox, Activision Blizzard. So basically, like 3% of their overall workforce. That's what the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, was saying. But there is, like not a lot of details at the time of the announcement, but there are some more details now. So we know now that the teams at Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, they're going to get hit pretty hard. And so if we look here, there's already been, as mentioned, thousands of jobs already been removed, but they're going to plan to remove 400 Activision employees working on Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. So as mentioned earlier, this is part of the 3% reduction of global workforce. And obviously, a lot of this is going to be to save money because, as with any business, employees are the most expensive part of practically every business. And so it's going to affect Activision Blizzard and employees at its Irvine, Santa Monica, and Playa Vista location. So basically, California. And yeah, these games are very popular actually. Diablo 4 has done really well. Overwatch 2 is still doing well, but obviously not well enough to keep them from getting laid off. And as you recall, back in October 2023, Activision Blizzard was acquired by Microsoft for $69 billion. I think that's probably the largest in terms of the acquisition. That is absolutely insane. And Activision Blizzard, they merged years prior, and so they definitely have a lot of valuable properties, and that's why that happened. And so getting into the details of who is being laid off, or what divisions after they cut more than 1,000 jobs. So it's saying here that they're doing this because of redundancies. So it's 75.4 billion merger. Okay, that's crazy. So this is on top of the already 1,003 layoffs that's already happened. So what departments? And so it's going to be in human resources. The director of human resources of World of Warcraft has been let go. Artists, director of technology, game designers, game producers, sound designers, and a game director and vice president. And yeah, wow. Even if you have games that are doing well, you have billions of dollars, it still doesn't mean that layoffs can't happen. And yeah, this is pretty huge. And the thing is, it's really not anything that is new. Layoffs has been happening for years now across the gaming industry and also across tech and other industries in general. And even studios like Tomb Raider Studios, they since last year, they had layoffs and said there wouldn't be layoffs. And it's just the way things are right now. There's just going to be continuing layoffs of these large companies, especially when it comes to AAA gaming, because typically those cost the most money to produce and they have to sell the most to make a profit. And Activision has been around a long time, since 1979. They've been through a lot and they produce some really amazing and iconic games. Games like StarCraft, Call of Duty, Blizzard, obviously, World of Warcraft. And then they bought like companies like King, who did the Candy Crush series. They've had a lot of games, a whole bunch of games. And I think a lot of those games are still today some of the most popular and most profitable ever. But times have changed. Cost of these games have just gone insane, hundreds of millions of dollars for the really large ones. And so it's even, I think, more difficult for these companies to be profitable, at least hugely profitable. And the thing is, as we've seen over many years, most of these game companies are acquired by larger companies like Microsoft. Look at all these game studios that they own. Same thing for Sony, with their PlayStation studios. A lot of these companies that used to be smaller or independent, that's no longer the case. And unfortunately, I kind of feel like with the consolidation of these gaming companies, There's going to be good and bad. The good part is these companies who might not have survived, they have a lot of money available to them. But the bad part is if they're not profitable, especially highly profitable for AAA gamings, these game studios get shut down, or a lot of people get laid off. And unfortunately, that's the nature of our modern gaming industry. And I don't think there's really much that people can do about it. Even really great gaming companies, it's just so expensive now to stay competitive. And at the same time, especially triple A, quadruple A gaming, I just don't think they are the quality that they used to be, meaning that I don't think they give gamers what they're looking for. Games that are fun, they still offer the things that they want, great graphics, story, characters, all those things, and then which leads to sales. A lot of these games have just not performed well. And I think eventually, I'm hoping that it's going to go back to what it used to be, focusing on the basics, really clamping down on costs, and it's going to be leaner and meaner teams. I think that's the way that it's going to go in the future, because regardless of how many billions these companies have, if they're not making sales, they're not profitable, even humongous trillion-dollar companies like Microsoft, billion-dollar companies like Sony, they're not going to be able to remain in the gaming space if they don't do these things. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be losing jobs over many more years. And so that's what's going on in the whole modern gaming, AAA gaming space. More layoffs, more reduction of workforce, and honestly, it's not going to slow down anytime soon. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments there below, and I'll see you on another episode. Hey geeks, if you are a brand new creator and you simply want something easy to get you started, well, I got something for you with my Creator Starter Kit. This is a super simple step-by-step guide that's going to take you from having no channel to developing your very first YouTube channel, along with ideas, thumbnail designs, and other creator tips, including marketing. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and get started creating.